At that time, the rubber kind of hit the road, and you get a handful of DUIs, which was, it's part of my story. Eventually, they're gonna put you in a timeout, and I had to do, 18 months of time incarcerated. My name is Tom.
My name is Sabrina.
And this is our More to Life story. We got married in June of 2005.
I mean, we really were young and focused on our careers, focused on getting ready to start a family, social with our friends, and just really living kind of worldly lives.
That was the beginning stages of my alcoholism. It started in college, and the Thursday, Friday, Saturday night partying, and once I graduated, I do come from a family of many alcoholics and addicts, and I figured I'd just slow down one day.
I didn't grow up around a lot of alcoholism or addiction, so it was very new to me. I didn't even understand what was really happening. I do remember times where, wow, he's a little bit more intoxicated than I would think he would be at this moment. And then when things kind of came to a head, his mom kind of was like, well, I think he struggles with the same thing that the rest of our family does. And the thought of divorcing or leaving him or not dealing with it never really crossed my mind at that point. It really was okay, we're going to get through this. We then had to deal with the surgery that Tom was going to have on his wrist. And so when it came to pain meds, what was that going to look like? We were naive and we believed, and we went down that path of addiction after that point. I was really trying to dig into the Lord, but really, if I'm being honest, I was trusting Tom and trying to trust Tom and keep my trust there. And that was a lot for him. And then shortly after that, he relapsed pretty badly. And there was one moment where the Lord told me I had to let him go to get him back. And I took that to extremes. And so I filed for divorce. I had to make a decision what was best for me and what was best for our girls in those moments. And it was one of the hardest things that I have ever had to do. But it's also one of the biggest blessings that brought us back to where we are today.
It was a big moment in our relationship because it sparked something within me to, once again seek the Lord and do what, follow His will and do what I have to do to, get my family back.
In those moments where we were divorced and we were kind of living separate lives, Tom was doing what he needed to do to make his life right. At the time, I was seeking some counsel from some pastors at a church that we used to attend, and one of them said to me, if he could get his life right, why wouldn't you want to put your life back together? Why wouldn't you want your family whole again? And I didn't have a reason other than I just can't go through that pain again. I can't go through those relapses again. And so there was a moment where I was like, okay, I got it. Lord is telling me to get my act back together and trust Him. So we divorced in 2015, and in 2017, we got remarried. We really do look at it as that it was a 180-degree turn from where we did life before and how we did life before. And so we dug in.
At that time, the rubber kind of hit the road, and you get a handful of DUIs, which was, it's part of my story. Eventually, they're gonna put you in a timeout, and I had to do, 18 months of time incarcerated. And this is the first time in our lives that we were both working on the same thing at the same time, and yet we would only see each other once a month, maybe for an hour or two. She had noticed a difference and a genuineness within me, and that kind of confirmed all these feelings I had. And I would literally pray to God, show me how to get my family back. And it was get in the Word, walk with me, be obedient,
and trust.
Yeah. And I'll take care of the rest.
It was one of those things where all of a sudden this man that I was getting these letters from, that I was talking to, that I would see, was the man that I prayed for. Like, that was the man that I knew that God had created him to be, but he just didn't know that existed in him. As I was thinking we're going to have to figure out how to co-parent, the Lord was saying, no, like, just watch him, watch how he's changing. And from that point on out, like, it was completely different. He was able to lead our home. He was able to be the man that God wanted him to be, and to lead us well.
So about 5 years into our second marriage, complacency had sat back in, and that actually led to a couple more relapses. It eventually led to me reaching out to a close friend here that led me to my first men's small group. And, fast forward 6 months, and all of a sudden I'm getting stirred up to get rebaptized. I got voluntold to serve, which was probably one of the only ways that I was going to serve. Shout out to Carl.
Our testimony is something that when we think back at what we've gone through, it was awful in moments. It was wonderful in moments. And it was the extremes from one side to the other. But we know that we went through these things because we know that the Lord is asking us to be a testimony to his goodness, to his grace, to his compassion, to his forgiveness, and know that we can come out on the other side. And so my encouragement is that get surrounded, get people in your life who are going to fight for you and fight for your marriage. And to the women, learn to be your husband's helper. Learn to be exactly who God called you to be in that marriage.
When things really changed for me was when I got myself out of the way, and I ended up meeting some men that may not have what I have, but they're married and they're strong believers, and they wanted me to be happy. They wanted me to have a strong marriage, to be a good father, a husband. So surround yourself with strong believers and follow their lead, and trust in them that they want for us what they already have, and just do what they say. And even though you may not know what you're doing, or you're very uncomfortable, just do it anyways. My name is Tom.
And my name is Sabrina.
And this is our More to Life story.